I don't know about you guys, but there's times where I'm on YouTube and I just start getting recommended like random content that has nothing to do with what I typically watch. And one thing I've noticed recently is I keep seeing like a lot of videos where people are sitting in a room with like terrible lighting and they have like hundreds of thousands of views or even millions of views. And they're talking about how they're in their 20s and their 30s and they're just complete failures. For example, I don't know if you guys have seen one that's been popping up recently, but it's like some kid and he's like, advice from a 22-year-old loser. And he's just sitting in his room talking over motivational music. And I'm not hating on these videos at all. But kind of the more like videos like this that get recommended to me, the more I start thinking to myself, and this should be common knowledge, but the internet and like social media that is around us in 2025, 2026 has truly made ordinary people just feel like losers. And it's something I want to talk about because as someone who cares about finances and trying to get on top, when it comes to, like I said, finances or just physically or mentally, this is a big kind of cancer that's going around. I really don't mean it dramatically. Like, I literally think that the internet that we are surrounded in and surrounded by 24/7 has made every single normal person out there feel like a loser. Like, if you have a normal job in 2026, you probably feel embarrassed about it. If you have a normal apartment, it's probably not enough square feet. If you have a normal income, you probably feel like you're way further behind than every single other person your age. And like, I feel like if you're in your 20s and you're not a streamer or a YouTuber, or you're not building some type of startup or just not making $100,000 a year, it honestly feels like you're doing something wrong. And I'm half speaking from experience too. Like, I don't make 100K. Like, you could call me a YouTuber. I don't really make enough suitable money to like quit my job for it. So it's like at the end of the day, you sit here and you're like, what am I doing wrong compared to everyone else? And I don't really think it used to be like that, right? When I look at our generation or Gen Z or whatever it might be, I see people who are just way too overstimulated and just way too involved into other people's lives when it comes to social media. And it's like it's hard not to be, right? You wake up and the minute you go on your phone, whether you're going on any type of social media or anything, you're instantaneously comparing your life to the most extreme version of success in the whole world. It doesn't even have to be the area you're in. And that's just not realistic, right? That's something that's new to us as humans. That's something that has never been the norm for anyone to do. And over time, that's going to completely shift your perception without you really even noticing it. You're going to have a whole new outlook on what life, quote unquote, should look like because of what you see on social media and on your phone. And it's like, if you really think about it, like let's say 20 years ago, right, when social media didn't really exist, if you were 24 years old and you had a steady job and you were paying rent like a normal person would, you're trying to figure life out, you were probably the most normal person in the world. You didn't think you were a loser. You didn't think you were behind. That's what everyone else was doing around that time. So it was super normal and it was respectable and you were probably pretty happy. But now in 2026, if you're 24 and you're paying rent and trying to figure life out, you feel like you're behind and you feel like a loser, and which is just insane because the reference point has completely changed. At no point anymore are you just comparing yourself to normal people your age around you, because the reality is if you just compare yourself to people in your hometown or some of your friends, you all are probably kind of around the same path. But what happens is we start comparing ourselves to like the 20-year-old crypto kid who made $800,000 on like Wiener coin or something like that. And then you'll see, a 26-year-old content creator who just bought a multi-million dollar house. Or you see, like if you ever go on like Reddit and you go on like r/salary, that is the worst place to ever find yourself. Because then you'll see some kid who's like, yeah, I'm 21 years old. I'm making $180,000 a year. I don't really know if this job is that good. And it's just like, you sit there, you start reading all of this and seeing all of this, and you just look at your life and you're like, well, I'm nowhere near these people. So like, why am I even trying at this point? Or if I am trying, clearly nothing's working. And your brain doesn't register that these people are just so statistically different from everyone else. They're outliers. One, you have no idea if what they're saying is even true. And two, you just can't compare yourselves to them because you don't know exactly how they got there. 90% of it was probably luck. Another percentage of it is probably from who they know. Like it never is truly what it seems like. And it just kind of registers as they're the same age as me and they're way ahead of me, or they're younger than me and they're way ahead of me. And it kind of sucks if we're being honest. And I know there's this like big struggle right now too, especially, if you're in the US, the economy we're in, the job market we're in, like everyone wants to succeed, right? But it just gets to the point where at some point it's okay to not succeed as fast as you think you should be. And what's dangerous about kind of this whole mindset shift that people are going through is you're not like sitting there in the mirror and you're constantly telling yourself, I'm a failure. Like it doesn't really work like that. But this kind of low level pressure, it always kind of adds into your stress and anxiety because you're going to always feel like somewhere on the timeline you're behind. Like you missed a train, you'll never be able to get back on it. Like you missed the good stocks that blew up. You missed the good cryptocurrency. You missed the good job offers. And now you don't really know what to do. And like I said, I'm speaking from experience here, right? Like I've felt it. You can be doing objectively fine. Like if you guys look at my net worth videos, on paper for a 25-year-old, I would say I'm doing extremely, extremely well for my age. I'm not rich by any means, but I have an affordable car payment. I have a decent little apartment that me and my girlfriend can afford rent on. I have a decent job that pays me a decent amount of money. I have a computer science degree. I'm happy and I'm healthy, right? Like that's pretty much all you can ask for. So even on top of all of that, 15 minutes into watching YouTube videos from other people, I start to think, well, now I'm a loser. I don't make as much money as I should be. I should be looking for new jobs. I shouldn't be happy with this apartment. I should be looking for new clothes to buy. I should want this watch instead of that watch. I have to stop myself sometimes on social media because it's like I start watching some videos and I'm like, God, I'm a loser. But then at the same time, it's like, I'm really not. Like I'm actually doing objectively very well for my age. So literally just by scrolling on social media for a little or watching kind of the wrong videos, it can make you feel pretty small. Now, granted, maybe not everyone has that issue. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, but I feel like it's a decently common thing that kind of happens nowadays with people on social media. I want to tie this into finances because I know the main theme of my channel is talking about finances. When the finance part comes up and you start looking at it, the biggest danger point of it is that when you're looking at these other people and you're seeing how they're doing, you're seeing they're doing quote unquote better than you, even if you don't have the financial stability to upgrade your life, you might start unconsciously upgrading or thinking about upgrading your life so you can feel like you're on the same timeline as everyone else. So you might think about moving out and upgrading your apartment, not because you need it, but because you're tired of feeling behind. Or you might finance the car you really want because it feels like progress. You feel like you're rewarding yourself. Or you start spending just in emotional ways that kind of match the image that you think you should be up to par with because that's what you see online. Not anything that actually has to do with your financial position. And what that's called is comparison-driven spending, right? So if you're comparing yourself to other people and then you're changing your spending habits to try to match those people you see online, that can get in the way of a lot of your financial success. And then there's the career side. Like I said, I see a lot of people in their 20s who literally just feel embarrassed about having a normal 9 to 5. They feel like they need to apologize that they have a normal 9 to 5 and they make less than $80,000 a year. Like they feel bad for that because a lot of people online, there's a whole community of people that are posting videos like, you need to be building a personal brand. You need to be brand scaling. You need to be leveraging or this and that. And it makes quote unquote normal people who have normal 9 to 5s and don't really want a personal brand or don't really want a brand scale or don't really need all the leverage. At that point, now they feel behind, even though a normal 9 to 5 is already a win. Like literally not even that many years ago, if you had a normal 9 to 5, you were doing better than a lot of people. So I still think that's the true mindset. If you just have a good job and stability, you literally are doing so much better than other people. And like I said, I see people coming online now who are like, yeah, I make $60K a year, and I'm a loser and I live at home still. It's like, bro, that's good. Like, congratulations, right? So I think at the end of the day, right, it's like most real wealth building will usually happen inside kind of boring and stable seasons of your life. So that's when you need to embrace normal 9 to 5s, and you need to embrace the kind of monotone consistency of wherever you're at in life right now, especially if you have like a basic job. This is the time to start investing and building skills. Now, obviously, you don't need to invest $1,000 a day, just $20 a month or a week, whatever it might be. Just get yourself started. And then another thing that the internet completely distorts for a lot of people, and this is the main problem, is timelines, right? The internet and social media, I'm going to tie both together, but has made everyone believe that for you to get successful, and if you want to be successful, you need to have success overnight. You want success in your 30s, you'll be long gone by then. You need success tomorrow. So it's like, if you're not rich by 25, you're behind. Or if you don't hit 6 figures by 27 years old, something's wrong with you. Or God forbid, you're still trying to figure things out in your 30s, you failed, the 20-year-old is better than you. And when you zoom out and you think about just not the current time period we're in, but just all of life, that's literally insane thinking that a lot of people have. And most people historically, like if you just look at the statistics, they hit their highest earning years in their late 30s to 40s. That's where your net worth your net worth and your finances usually kind of blow up, because that's when you're going to see the biggest payoffs in your careers, not when you're 25. And I know there's a lot of 20-year-olds right now who have software jobs making crazy amounts of money, but once again, statistically, those people are kind of outliers. There's a whole bunch of 20-year-olds that I know, I'm one of them, where I don't make anywhere near that, right? So I'm waiting till my late 30s or my 40s. Or I shouldn't say waiting, but I'm assuming that when I'm in my 30s or 40s, that's when I'll see the biggest payoff in my career. But in the moment, it's really hard to see that. You'll see that 1% of people who got lucky really early, or you'll see that one person on salary Reddit who's like, hey, I'm 21 years old, I'm making $150K a year. Is that enough to survive? Meanwhile, you have, single mothers who are, making $40K a year, supporting 3 kids, and they're doing just fine, right? So your brain thinks early is the only way, and that's how we've kind of been programmed. And then this leads me into another problem, which is it leads us into risk without strategy, because we think, man, we got to get rich overnight, or we got to be successful overnight. But the internet will always glamorize big swings, right? Like, you guys know, one of the easiest ways to blow up on YouTube is post a video about quitting your job. If you quit your job, post a YouTube video, title it, I quit my job, you'll probably get over 20,000 views at least, even if it's a new channel. Or a lot of people talk about betting on themselves or going all in on a stock or a coin, whatever it might be. And listen, look, sometimes that's right. I'm not saying that people who quit their jobs shouldn't be, right? I'm not saying the principle behind it's bad. I'm just saying the internet will always glamorize that. You'll have people in the comments saying, that's the best thing you can do. Congratulations, this, and this. But it takes a very certain scenario where quitting your job, going all in, betting on yourself works. And I highly encourage all of you guys to take bets on yourself. And if you're really, convinced on something, attack it. But at the end of the day, you really have to look at your situation and form some type of strategy. And bro, you can form a strategy in 30 minutes. It's not like I'm telling you guys to sit here and game plan for the next 3 years on how to quit your job or how to go all in, whatever it might be. You can literally sit down, take 30 minutes and come up with a strategy, right? Because when you have that, at that point, you start feeling a little bit more motivated. And the last thing you want to do is quit your job or make a risky decision with no strategy just because you're embarrassed of being quote unquote ordinary, right? Like if you're quitting your job because you see people online doing it, or you're going all in on a coin because you see everyone else doing it, or you're putting all your money into Amazon stock because that's what all the financial YouTubers are doing, right? I get it, but at the end of the day, you have to be okay with not following a lot of people and being yourself. Because at the end of the day, rent is still going to exist. Whether you quit your job or bet on yourself, rent's still there. Groceries are still there. Insurance, still got to pay it. So stability will never be weakness. And we've come to this point in society where like stability is a bad thing. In my opinion, it's leverage, right? If you have stability, man, you're doing better than a lot of other people. So I think what really happened at the end of the day is we became the first generation in the world with constant exposure to extreme levels of success on a 24/7 basis. Not occasional exposure, literally consistent exposure to extreme success of other people. We carry it in our pockets, and it's so extreme that it's become normalized. And when extreme becomes normal, normal at that point is going to feel embarrassing or feel like failure. But the problem is, normal is where most wealth is built for a lot of different people. It takes time. It takes years. Once again, you can see it overnight how it happens for some people, but for the majority of people, it's going to take years. And no one ever posts videos about contributing to their retirement account for the 37th time. Well, I mean, some people do. I kind of do to a certain extent, but you're not going to go viral, right? What goes viral is people quitting their jobs and opening a business, people brand scaling and making $40,000 a month, 25-year-olds or people in their 20s, buying a cryptocurrency and 10xing their money. None of this stuff about, like no one's going to celebrate someone who posts online and says, hey guys, I just got a raise and I didn't upgrade my lifestyle. No one's going to watch that. People want to see the person who got a raise and then bought a Lamborghini. So I think over time, my prediction for how this is all going to turn out is it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. People are still going to go on YouTube and on social media who are 21 and have so much life to live and call themselves losers and get down on themselves because they're not, driving a G-Wagon. But I truly think with how the economy's going and stability's going, I think the real flex in the next couple of years is going to be the person who's like 30 and financially free. Not rich, financially free. There's a big difference between being rich and being financially free. And it's not panicking when something breaks. It's about having a good savings account, a lot of breathing room, the ability to do whatever you want to do, having a strong little investment account, and just not feeling pressured to impress anyone. I truly think that's the direction we're going, where at some point it's all going to shift and you're going to see someone, in their 20s flexing all these things, and it's going to just get like cringy. It's going to be like, where's the 20-year-old who has their life together, right? So if the whole reason I'm making this video, right? If you're in your 20s, especially your early 20s, or even if you're late teens watching this video, hell, even if you're in your 30s watching this video, and you're not a multimillionaire, you're not making 100K a year, you're not driving a Lamborghini, you don't own a house, anything like that, bro, you're not a failure. Like, everyone out there needs to realize that if you have a normal job in a small apartment, you are not behind. You're just working on your life. And look, sometimes the building gets boring. I get it. Like, sometimes you just want to like fast forward to the next season of your life, but over time, that boring's going to compound and you're going to learn a lot from it. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you a stronger person over time. So I think we need to start kind of redefining as a society what winning looks like. Because in my opinion, winning comes down to three things. If you can be, have good stability, be consistent, and have leverage and margin with your finances, I think that's going to be the winning kind of recipe for the next couple of years to come. And I just truly think the internet lately has made ordinary or just normal, quote, normal people feel like complete failures. And I truly hate it because I'm a very normal person. And I think a lot of these people on the internet get this like ego where they're not a normal person. But it's like, bro, we're all normal people here. At the end of the day, we're all just human beings. We're all just trying to live life. And most people will try to quit being quote unquote normal because it doesn't feel impressive. So then they'll take all these unnecessary, uncalculated risks and they'll put themselves in a worse situation. And that's kind of the biggest trap. But that's pretty much, I just wanted to rant about that because I think this is something that's going to be, a big talking point in the next couple of years, especially, like I said, with social media and stuff. But if this resonates with you, drop a comment. Let me know, have you ever felt behind from just scrolling or watching videos? Or do you ever have to, stop yourself from getting too far down the rabbit hole on social media? Because then you're going to kind of like compare yourself. But other than that, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day in 2026. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.